It is Saturday, the 21st of September, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Today, we are talking about a very famous Canadian singer, Leonard Cohen. Now, if you're not like a big Leonard Cohen fan, you probably think of Hallelujah when you hear his name. That would definitely be his most famous song. It's been covered by everyone under the sun. I remember reading a review of Watchmen, and the guy who wrote the review said that he swears he hears Hallelujah every time he opens the fridge these days. I mean, Hallelujah is what he's most famous for, certainly, but I mean, he had a long, storied career from the 60s right through to the 2010s. He died in 2016. The song we're talking about today, we're technically talking about two songs, really, but we're talking about his final album, You Want It Darker, which came out in 2016, just 17 days before he died. And the reason why we're talking about these things today is because today is his birthday. And if he had lived, he would have been 90 today, which is interesting. He died at the age of 82, of course. I knew a few of his songs growing up. My mum became a big fan of his in like the early 2010s, so I got kind of more into his stuff then. So like after he died, I went and listened to his last few albums, which were Old Ideas, Popular Problems, and You Want It Darker. And I thoroughly enjoy them. I really like You Want It Darker. It's a weird album. The title track is quite good. But the songs we're talking about today are the second track, which is called Treaty, and the final track in the album, which is a reprise of Treaty. It's mostly instrumental with a little bit of lyrics. We're mostly going to be talking about the main song, but I will be including the reprise in my discussion as well, because honestly, I prefer the reprise. It's just really nice. But anyway, we're going to go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. So that is Treaty and its string reprise. I did listen to both. I encourage you to also do the same. So the song is about someone who is impossible to love is kind of the thing, and not in a like, God, you're driving me fucking crazy way. It's just, it feels more like grief. I think because of the tone of the song, it's very mournful, you know. I mean, Leonard Cohen songs are always mournful, but you know what I mean. Let's just go through the lyrics. I've seen you change the water into wine. I've seen you change it back to water too. I sit at your table every night. I try, but I just don't get high with you. I wish there was a treaty we could sign. Do not care who takes this bloody hill. I'm angry and I'm tired all the time. I wish there was a treaty. I wish there was a treaty between your love and mine. So, like, he talks about witnessing miracles. I mean, changing the water into wine is, of course, a reference to the Bible when Jesus changes the water into wine at the wedding at Cana. And I just don't get high with you is interesting. I mean, he references doing drugs in his music. That's not that weird, but it is a bit of an odd line there, I think. And then, I wish there was a treaty we could sign between your love and mine. Like, he's saying that, you know, these two people, their love just doesn't mesh, doesn't go together, you know. I have my love, you have yours, and I wish we could sign a treaty to marry them, if you'll pardon the expression, but we can't, right? And, you know, talking about experiencing miracles, talking about how great she is, and I do not care who takes this bloody hill, I'm angry and I'm tired all the time. You know, when you say that you'll die on that hill, right? It's like he's kind of describing an argument, but he wants there to be an agreement instead of an argument, you know? Ah, they're dancing in the street, it's Jubilee. We sold ourselves for love, but now we're free. I'm so sorry for that ghost I made you be. Only one of us was real, and that was me. Now, this is interesting. This is the chorus here. And it's interesting how he says, like, dancing in the street, we sold ourselves for love, but now we're free. Kind of almost like saying that them breaking up or whatever has happened is a good thing. You know, we're free now. I'm so sorry for the ghost I made you be is really interesting. He's saying, like, he's kind of acknowledging that he had a negative impact on this person, and he's apologizing for it. And then only one of us is real, and that was me, saying that, like, he changed her, and he doesn't like that he did that, you know? I haven't said a word since you've been gone that any liar couldn't say as well. I just can't believe the static coming on. You were my ground, my safe and sound. You were my aerial. So, you know, he's saying, like, I haven't said a word since you've been gone that any liar couldn't say as well is great. Saying, like, he hasn't been the same, right? He hasn't been able to acknowledge this change. He hasn't been able to say something that was true. The static coming on, you were my ground, my safe and sound, my aerial, you know? You were the thing that kept me grounded, and now you're gone and I feel unbound. I can feel the static coming on, you know? And then we get the chorus again, and then the final verses. I heard the snake was baffled by his sin. He shed his scales to find find the snake within, but born again is born without a skin. The poison enters into everything. So one would imagine this is a reference to the Bible again. He likes to do that. The snake tempting Eve, baffled by his sin, baffled by Adam's sin, baffled by his own sin, maybe. He shed his scales to find the snake within. Snakes shed their skin and remain snakes, but born again is born without a skin. The poison enters into everything. I really should have kind of read through this before I talked about it, because I don't entirely understand the song. This part is kind of inscrutable to me, but I think it also is talking about, just spitballing here. It's talking about rebirth and like reinventing yourself after a relationship and kind of confused as to what happened, where you went wrong, baffled by your sin, right? And then you're being born without a skin, like you feel new. The poison enters into everything, like it's still there haunting you, sort of thing. And the final verse, and I wish there was a treaty we could sign. I do not care who takes this bloody hill. I'm angry and I'm tired all the time. I wish there was a treaty. I wish there was a treaty between your love and mine. And then the reprise is almost exactly the same. It's the long string intro, and then I wish there was a treaty we could sign. It's over now, the water and the wine. We were broken then, but now we're borderline. And I wish there was a treaty. I wish there was a treaty between your love and mine. This is really interesting as well. He says it's over now, the one and the wine. The miracles have ended, right? We were broken then, but now we're borderline is an interesting thing to say. Like, it implies healing because they're borderline broken, so they're not broken, I guess. And then I wish it was a treaty between your love and mine. It's a really interesting set of songs to end your career on, because, he knew he was dying. And so to have this be your final song and your final album, it's a beautiful song and a really interesting one to end with. You could kind of almost look at it as he wants there to be a treaty between the love of his fans and himself, even, though that might be stretching it a bit. But yeah, I really do love this pair of songs, and I hope you enjoy them too. I find Leonard Cohen's songwriting to be really interesting because it's full of really cool images, and sometimes I totally get it and sometimes I totally don't, but they're very evocative in terms of the emotion they portray. You kind of get what this song is about without even listening to lyrics. That's why the string reprise is so nice. It just has that melancholic feel to it, Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.